I used to be a Weird Warriors kid. Now I'm a Weird Warriors adult. Each week I'm discussing a chapter of the iconic books by Aaron Hunter. My name is Charlie. This is my cat Lucky. And in today's episode, I will be talking about Prophecies Begin, Book 1, Into the Wild, Chapter 18. Join me on this adventure into the world of warrior cats. The chapter art for chapter 18 is the two cats next to each other with the moon behind them. And the chapter begins with Tiger Claw saying, "Are you telling Firepaw how I protected Redtail?" Now, if we remember from last week, the chapter ended with Ravenpaw being upset that Tiger Claw became deputy. Right after Tiger Claw is like, "I never expected to get this high of a rank." But Ravenpaw says she should never have chosen him. He's wanted to be deputy ever since he took care of Redtail. And Firepaw asks, took care of Redtail? Was Tiger Claw responsible for Redtail's death? So he had said, took care of Redtail? And then Tiger Claw cuts in and says, "Are you telling Firepaw how I protected Redtail?" So this is like a clever use of the double meaning of took care of, because Firepaw quickly thinks of an excuse and says, "He was just saying he wished you had been here to take care of Lionheart as well. That's all." Firepaw is using it in this case as a defense of Ravenpaw, saying he was just saying he wishes you were here to take care of, as in protect, Lionheart from being killed. So it's like really interesting how it's written here. But then Tiger Claw walks away and Ravenpaw looks really scared, shaking uncontrollably, and he runs over to huddle near Greypaw beside Lionheart's dead body. It's very sad here. And then Firepaw goes and joins them, and eventually a group of elders comes to take Lionheart's body away to the burial place. Greypaw followed to help dig the hole where the great warrior would rest. Now, I wish they would give a little more context about the burial place. Has Firepaw ever been there? What is it like? And when was the last time they had to bury someone there? I suppose it was Redtail. But like, I don't know, I just wish we got a little more information about that location. Is it in the camp? Is it far away from the camp? I'm just curious about it. I'm also wondering, where's Rosetail? Why has she not been mentioned again? Like, Lionheart's not the only one that died. There could have been a line somewhere about how the elders came back from burying Rosetail to get Lionheart, but it's not there. So I hope we eventually find out who is grieving her, what was going on, because so far she's been overshadowed by Lionheart's death. But then Firepaw goes over to the apprentice's den to sleep, and then, this is interesting. So when Firepaw goes to sleep, he sees that Ravenpaw is curled up as if asleep. And then in the morning, he's woken up by Dustpaw's voice, and it says Ravenpaw was already awake. I think this is implying that Ravenpaw was awake the entire night and could not sleep at all. Dustpaw is telling them that Blue Star has called another meeting. So they hurry out, and Tiger Claw is talking on the high rock next to Blue Star, having quickly become accustomed to his new position as deputy. And he is saying, during the battle, our leader lost another life. Now, I wonder, at first when I read that, before recording this, I was thinking he was like, we're getting to the meeting late with Firepaw, so I thought he was referring to the battle with the rats. But I think he's probably pretending like the life she lost was not to rats, but rather in this battle defending the clan, probably because he thinks that would make her sound stronger. And by extension, make himself sound stronger, because if he couldn't protect his leader from rats, I feel like the cats would think he is weak for that, or maybe he thinks they would think that. So I don't know. It's interesting. But he says, now that she has only 4 of her 9 lives left, I'm going to appoint a bodyguard to stay at her side constantly. No cat will be allowed to approach her unless the guards are present. And then he says, Darkstripe and Longtail, you will act as Blue Star's guards. And it says, Darkstripe and Longtail nodded importantly. Yeah, they're annoying. And then Blue Star speaks and says, thank you, Tiger Claw, for your loyalty, but the clan must understand that I am still here for them. No cat should hesitate to approach me, and I am happy to speak to anyone with or without my bodyguards. So, I guess she is accepting the bodyguards, but she's reversing Tiger Claw's announcement that no one's allowed to speak to her without them present. Like, I think it's interesting that Tiger Claw immediately was like making announcements as if he was the one in charge without consulting Blue Star for her opinion first. Hi, Lucky. I love you. You gonna jump? You thinking about it? Yeah. I love you. But I think Tiger Claw probably was trying to have this rule created so that Firepaw or Ravenpaw would not come to Blue Star, but most likely Firepaw, because he's not as scared as Ravenpaw, to tell Blue Star about what Ravenpaw was saying about Tiger Claw and everything like that. Because when he's saying those things, he looks at Ravenpaw and then back to the rest of the crowd. So like he's definitely thinking about Ravenpaw here. But I'm glad Blue Star like edits the rule a little bit there. But also, because she says, as the warrior code says, the safety of the clan is more important than the security of any single member. I think that is an admirable quality of hers. She's caring about the good of the community versus individuality. I wonder if that is a theme that will continue throughout the series. But then she changes the topic and says, now I wish to invite Yellowfang to join ThunderClan. And then there's some cats seem surprised, but Frostfur nods in agreement, and Blue Star says, her actions last night proved that she is brave and loyal. If she wishes it, we would welcome her as a full member of this clan. And Yellowfang says, I am honored, Blue Star, and I accept your offer. Yay! Yellowfang is officially a member of ThunderClan. And Firepaw is very excited about this, but he's surprised at his own reaction as he realizes just how much Blue Star's public show of trust in Yellowfang meant to him. But then Blue Star explains that they've already started repairing the barrier around the camp, and they need to really be patrolling the boundaries of the clan and everything. We should not assume that this war is over. And Tiger Claw, just out of the blue, starts rising up suspicion that there must be a spy for ShadowClan in their camp, because how did they know that the leader was gone to go to the Moonstone and everything? And he's staring at Ravenpaw as he's doing it, and everyone's like following his eyesight, like, why are you suspecting him? So, ugh. And then he says, if anyone suspects anything, you can tell me, and anything you say will be in confidence. So again, he's kind of acting like he's in charge like, Blue Star was just saying, you can come to me if you need anything. And he's like, come to me and I won't tell anyone. It's just so annoying. But anyway, then the meeting basically ends and Firepaw calls out for Ravenpaw, but he's already running off to help with different tasks, obviously not wanting to talk. So Firepaw goes to ask Yellowfang how she's doing after the battle with Blackfoot, and she says she's fine, like still kind of hurt, but she'll be fine. And we find out that Yellowfang has known Blackfoot since he was a kid. She says he hasn't changed, a bully, but no brains. And Firepaw says he's not surprised that Blue Star invited her to be a part of ThunderClan because she definitely showed her loyalty, but she's like, wait, if I was really loyal, wouldn't I still be in ShadowClan? And Firepaw asks if she misses ShadowClan, and she says she does miss the old ShadowClan before Broken Star became leader. She says, he changed the clan. He always knew how to give a good speech. He could make you believe a mouse was a rabbit if he set his mind to it. Perhaps that is why I was so blind to his faults. The old she-cat stared into the distance, lost in memories. And then Firepaw is joking with her as he reveals to her that Running Nose is the new ShadowClan cat, and they're like, haha, he can't even cure his own cold, which I'm sure he gets all the time and hates. Like, I know cats can get chronic colds that they deal with forever and is incurable, so I understand them kind of teasing him for that, but at the same time, like, if it's not contagious and he's otherwise fine, like, it's fine. He can still be a good doctor while having a chronic health condition. But anyway, Firepaw says, I'll leave you to rest now. Call me if you need anything else today, which that was a little distracting when I read that because I was picturing them calling each other on the phone. But yeah. Also, I just realized I just did the hand motion for calling that they say the younger generations do. When I don't know if I've ever done that hand motion for being on the phone. I usually do the classic, like, quote unquote, old fashioned version where you stick out your thumb and your pinky, but this time I did just my flat hand. Anyway, moving on. And then Yellowfang says, before you go, Firepaw, I hear you were in a rat fight. Did they draw blood? And Firepaw says, it's okay. Spotted Leaf has treated my wounds with marigold. But Yellowfang explains sometimes it's not enough. She recommends rolling around in wild garlic, though your den mates might not thank me for the advice. So Firepaw goes off to do that, but as he's about to leave, he gets yelled at by Darkstripe not to leave. He says, Yellowfang told me to go out and... You don't take orders from that rogue. Go and help with the repairs. No cat is to leave the camp tonight. Oh, Darkstripe is so annoying. And Firepaw walks away and mutters under his breath, Dirt Stripe. Now remember, dirt is what they call their poop, so he's basically calling him Poop Stripe. But Firepaw goes over to Greypaw and Ravenpaw, and he tells them the updates about Yellowfang and how he was going to go and find the garlic, but Darkstripe stopped him, and they basically decide that Firepaw's going to sneak out to get it, which Ravenpaw is very uneasy about, but Greypaw is supportive of the idea, and he's like, we'll cover you, we got you. And so Firepaw jumps through the tear in the wall, and he easily finds the wild garlic because it has a very distinct smell. And then he can smell Tiger Claw. So he slowly creeps over to try and see what he's doing, making sure to be downwind so they don't smell him. And he can hear them. I feel like the dialogue, or at least the way the dialogue is explained in this section, is a little bit confusing. Tiger Claw says, StarClan knows my apprentice has shown little promise from the start, but I never expected him to turn traitor. Darkstripe asks, how long did you say Ravenpaw was missing on the journey to Mothermouth? Tiger Claw says, long enough to have traveled to ShadowClan's camp and back. And Firepaw's like, but that's not possible. Ravenpaw was with us the whole time. It says Longtail's voice sounded now high-pitched with excitement. I'm like, why is he excited? He says he must have told them that ThunderClan's leader and the strongest warrior had left the camp. Why else would they attack when they did? And Tiger Claw says, we are the last clan to stand against ShadowClan. We must remain strong. His tone had become velvety soft now. Like, why do they sound excited and velvety soft? Like, what? And Darkstripe answered eagerly as if he were still Tiger Claw's apprentice. He says, and the clan would be better off without a traitor like Ravenpaw. And Tiger Claw says, I have to say I agree with you, Darkstripe, his voice heavy with emotion. Even though he's my own apprentice. He trailed off as if he were too upset to say any more. So I'm so confused. They sound excited, their voices are velvety soft, but then they sound too emotional to continue. So it feels inconsistent to me. Are they trying to have it, like, are they excited about this? Are they hatching a plan together? Or is Tiger Claw even tricking them? I'm confused, but something's going on. And then Firepaw hurries back to camp, deciding not to tell Ravenpaw what he heard because he knows that Ravenpaw will get spooked. And he decides he's going to tell Bluestar, wondering how he's going to convince her that he's telling the truth. And that is the end of chapter 18. And this was episode 20 of the podcast. I cannot believe we're this far. I'm very proud of myself for doing this mostly consistently, and I'm very excited to keep making episodes. I think it's really fun because several plot points I remember, but so much of this is like reminding me what happened, and it's a really good story. So yeah, I look forward to next week when we'll get into chapter 19. Remember, if you want to access bonus content like the unboxing of some Warrior Cats merch that I got for my birthday that I am publishing before this episode, then you can pay $5 a month on Substack, which will also grant you access to the comment section and the extended version of each episode where I talk about spoilers that I think of as I get to different points in the story. But otherwise, thank you so much for listening and or watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And I will see you, or you'll see me, next week. This has been Into the World of Warrior Cats.